Hello and welcome to my video where I talk about what I do now that I'm like done with YouTube. Some people might be curious, and I know right off the bat you're seeing that, oh god, it's a PowerPoint like class or something. But hey, don't go. Ooh, spin, spin, spin. Don't go. This might interest you, but keep an open mind. But let's talk. But before I do that, I did want to quickly shout out 3 people, specifically Jambi, Heckbro, and Juber. Jambi here wanted to get their name in the closure video, but missed out on that. And then Heckbro and Juber here donated again after I posted that video for some reason. And I promised all these people that they would be credited in my next high-effort YouTube upload, but I'm not going to do that anymore. They basically donated to me, and that's why their names are here, and I hope this is good, especially for Jambi, who missed out. Sorry. Anyways, let's talk. So my YouTube run was, I actually really enjoy what I've made and what I've done and what I love to do at the time without realizing, where this would end. And because I accidentally pissed off someone in my I Quit video by saying like, oh, 38,000 people, I shouldn't worry about impressing them. And it came off as like this sort of like, oh, this is all for nothing, I hate you all sort of vibe, which is not what I meant to do. I'm sorry if it came off that way. I genuinely enjoy the love and support and inspiration that came from this massive run of YouTube. Thank you for watching and all that. So let's talk about this video, which is basically 17 minutes of me complaining. It was basically where do I even start with this? It's not a surprise that people who saw me for the first time through this video left very backhanded, mean comments, but they were actually brutally honest, and I'm very happy that they went out of their way to tell me what I got wrong in my video, on top of like all the other people who's already been watching my channel and acknowledging and accepting with love the reason I wanted to quit. And so what I especially love when I posted this video, which is it's part of the reason why I'm basically going to dissect what went wrong and what that should be going forward with my new hobby. A lot of people commented saying that this video resonated with them, specifically because they wanted to try YouTube, or they're struggling with trying YouTube, or they're still a small YouTuber. And I wanted to delve into that more, because I don't think I explained it well and explained some stuff well enough. There was one comment on that YouTube video that jumped out to me. It was this one, which, by the way, don't go looking to reply to it. Don't try to go find this person or whatever. Just leave it alone. I'm only going to read it out for my example here. This person said, "It's just sad that YouTube does stuff like this to creators just to earn some extra cash from some corporate advertisers instead of listening to the community." Because on YouTube, there's like this large sort of like audience who sees YouTubers as a community going up against the big bad YouTube that tries to make their life hard, as well as the advertisers that fund it, and governments with their stupid copyright law and stuff, which is not a bad sentiment to have. It helps get stuff done. But I did want to reply to those people with a very, very hot take. Oh, sorry about flashing colors. Please don't flame me for that. I have a very hot take for those people, or possibly hot take. You might not be surprised. Here it is. YouTube is not broken. All right, I'm sorry. It's just not broken. It does exactly what it's designed to do. Now, I'm not talking about recent shit like, the Quantum TV Ackman or whatever, or like past other things with like the mess of demonetization from way back when, or maybe possible rumors of executives being corrupt, or the shit show that is copyright law. I'm talking about the actual like backbone of YouTube that has been functioning fine for like the past 3 years, and that's the recommendation algorithm, the very thing that brings people to channels. So I'm going to prove why YouTube isn't broken by comparing successful channels to my YouTube endeavor. So let's start. Here are the 2 examples I picked out: Scott the Woz and Dinkpods. If you like watching those people, that's great. If you don't watch them, it doesn't matter. You don't need to know them. Here's what I'm going to compare. For starters, more successful YouTubers tend to have simpler videos and a shitload of like output. Like they make way more videos that are all simpler to do. And on the surface, when you watch one of these videos, it's like, oh, it's just pointing a camera at a talking person and then adding cuts in a video editor. It's easy, right? It's not. It's actually not that easy, but it is easier than what I was doing on YouTube. And the other big thing to note, on top of making a whole lot of videos like quantity, is that these YouTubers ride on culturally relevant topics. And what I'm saying is, if you look at Scott the Woz or Dinkpods or most big YouTubers' thumbnails, you're going to notice that, like, even though the YouTuber might have some stylization to the things they post, like, for example, Dinkpods has that characteristic green background, or Scott the Woz has himself with a blue border, but chances are half or maybe even the entire thumbnail is completely something else that has existed for a while that's popular. In this case, look on the right-hand side, you have the iPods and the movie Shrek. And on the left-hand side, you have Nintendo games, both way bigger than any YouTuber. And that's a very important thing to keep in mind. And let's continue going through the bullet points right now. Comfortably lives off ad revenue, ideally. They're probably making ad money, and, that's part of being successful with the algorithm. But the big thing is that these channels get lots of exposure because they have a large backlog of people's interests, even without ads. Even if none of them wanted to make ad money, the fact that they make lots of videos with a huge culturally relevant thing sticking out in each thumbnail or within their content is what allows them to grow. You'll see what I'm getting into now. This seems obvious so far, but let me just keep illustrating my point, right? So here you have my videos, right? A couple of my thumbnails. My videos are more complex because, they're animations, or like sort of animations. So they're hard. They take longer to make, even though I try to make them as fast as I can. I will never make them as fast as someone who uses like live action or simpler editing. But the big thing that I think I missed is that I was trying really hard to be original, which if you found my videos, that probably benefited your viewing experience. But from the perspective of growing on YouTube, originality really tends to alienate new viewers. Like, for example, on the right-hand side, you have the thumbnail for Spanish class. That might, catch people's attention, saying, oh yeah, I know Spanish class. I've had a Spanish class before. Or the big thing that I had to gain viewers with Stickman 2020 was, the neon-colored thumbnail that's, bright and hard to miss. But it doesn't have a thumbnail of Shrek, or it doesn't have the cover art of Mario Party 2. So, not everyone is going to want to click on that. Even though it has other ways to try to grab your attention in the video thumbnail world of the YouTube algorithm, originality, the more you have of it, it can alienate possible viewers to your channel. And also I wanted to mention that, this very stupid notion I have of I can just grow on YouTube without turning on ads and I won't be a sellout. Now donate to my Patreon and I'll make a living. It's like that. I don't regret selling out. I'm glad I didn't do that. But that is a very stupid thing to do when the only way to grow is an algorithm designed by an advertising company. So very optimistic, past George, but it did not work. Channels that try to be as original as possible cannot get any viewer attention without popular interest, even if I did turn on ads. So not only did making fewer videos hurt me, but the fact that I was just trying to reinvent this wheel of look at this amazingly original thing you can do with online video. That does not work with YouTube. YouTube is you only thrive on YouTube by just showing and resharing what things that already exist, similar to other social media like Twitter or Instagram. Not to say you can't do anything original on them, it's just that you tend to do better when you stick to very common things in your thumbnail and content on YouTube. So what am I saying with all this? Basically, what I'm saying is, ads or not, the algorithm accurately reflects the preferences of its users. Sure, there's 38,000 wavetro fans, but there's millions of people who know Shrek, millions of people who know Mario, and because of that, Scott DeWaz is what does he have, 2 million subscribers, and so does ThinkPods. The algorithm works. It shows what people want to click on because people don't want to click on you if you're too original because they don't know you that well. Not everyone is that, not that willing to try new things. And, there are obviously exceptions, but this is the larger picture that I've gathered, especially with my case, which I'm trying to do animation. And the other thing I wanted to mention briefly is that many YouTubers actually have no problem getting their ad revenue paychecks. There's a long, in the late 2010s, there was a long period where YouTubers a lot of them would often complain about issues with getting paid out. Those are now sorted out. Many YouTubers get paid just fine. So in conclusion, YouTube is not broken. It has its own issues, but the core of the site is not broken, and therefore my issue isn't YouTube's fault, it's my own fault. The algorithm won't always reward infrequent and original videos because it's simply what people don't want to watch. The algorithm works, and yeah, I should basically quit if I don't want to become like a YouTuber on the left, which obviously I didn't want to do that. It's not interesting to me, so I quit YouTube. That's what happened. And reflecting on because this stuff I've been reflecting on the past few months of what went wrong, why did I let myself get into this situation, how did I end up here, right? I should have known that this was going to fail, right? Trying to make fewer videos that just have no connection to an audience that wants to watch something while they're eating lunch or whatever. How do people like me end up in this situation? And so I've been thinking about it, and it finally hit me. So why did I end up in this, and why are there people that resonate with my video that are struggling to be a YouTuber? And chances are it's because they're also trying to be as original as possible. And I think the root of it comes from childhood. People that end up in my situation had a strong childhood attachment to YouTube, because when you're a kid growing up on YouTube, you don't see the business strategy of YouTubers picking out their topics and thumbnails. You don't see, like, you don't really pay attention that much to the ads or the sponsorships and the carefully planned content schedules and whatever. You only see like this cool YouTuber who does a cool thing like play games or makes an animation. And and since there's so many kids that want to grow up to be YouTubers, I guarantee you a lot of them are going to end up where I'm at, because no one ever explains to them that it's not that simple. YouTube is not as simple as doing what you love. It's about taking what you love and turning it into visible ad space, whether you actually sell ads or not. That's the big thing that I wish I knew as a kid, because then I went on this weird path where I never talked to anyone, no one ever told me about how YouTube actually works, and I have like this optimistic worldview of, oh, if I make something cool, people will come and I will have a job. No, that's not how it works. And so my final advice is that if you want to be a YouTuber for a living, you got to stick to what already works, which is quantity and relevance. And if that does not interest you at all, and you want to be more original, just don't be a YouTuber for a living. I wouldn't even recommend trying, or at least if you do try, have a backup plan to like just anticipate it not working. You could even, like, if you really want to be original, you could also try to make a video game or like a webcomic or something else that ends up being like recycled on YouTube. Like, literally, YouTubers just spend all day like regurgitating popular things, at least from what I've seen on the recommendation algorithm. If you want to like truly have a productive use of wanting to make your life harder and be more original, you could totally just do something outside of YouTube, and maybe it'll find its way back over, and you'll take over YouTube another way, haha, that'd be cool. But whatever the case, that's the tangent I wanted to explain about what went wrong with YouTube, because that was the piece I was missing. I had no idea that childhood thing was such a part of it until now. And also, I was actually going to explain, like, I know my future is not going to be in animation, because I'm not actually that interested in its artistic process, nor did I really respect it, but I'm just going to gloss over that. Basically, to make a long story short, I'm not going to continue with Blender 3D animations outside of YouTube. I'm just done with that. And so, let's get into the part where it's like, okay, I'm done with YouTube, I don't want to do Blender 3D animations anymore, I need to find something new. And I need to make sure it fits these criteria. So here's my checklist for a new creative medium. Excuse me. I must be able to ignore unrealistic visions. Basically, I have to pick something, and I have to be able to like the process of actually learning the basics and getting my hands dirty without immediately going, oh, I can't wait to build this thing or that thing, and immediately get discouraged. Which is why I also can't pick up music, because I really listen to a lot of music, and every time I try to learn, it's like, oh, I can't wait to sound like this artist or that artist, ignoring the fact that that artist has like years of experience and like having their own identity built up from like learning the basics themselves. Like whenever you want to become like a creative person, you will never anticipate your final identity, because if you do, you probably did something wrong. It's not that simple. I can't just be like, oh yeah, I'll just copy this artist. And actually, that kind of works for like 2D art, but whatever the case is, what I'm saying is like, I have to pick I'm getting sidetracked. I have to pick something where I don't get distracted by like delusions of grandeur. I have to like what I'm actually doing. I have to agree with how money is made with it. Okay, let's face it. I was born in 1999. Subtract. Subtract that number from the current year, in this case 2022, minus 1999. That's how old I probably am right now. I'm starting to get a little old, right? I'm glad I found out that YouTube was not going to work for me early on, because I'm at the point where I need to start worrying about money a lot more often. That's how the world works, I'm sorry. And so, whatever I decide to do, chances are it'll have a money-making side to it, and I need to make sure I'm totally okay with how people make a living with it. Because, if I pick another thing that's like YouTube, where it's like, oh, this is cool, but I hate how people make money with it, it's a waste of time. I need to worry about making money more, honestly. It can't rely on one program or website. I'm sorry, I can't make Blender 3D my personality anymore, because they made the program easier to learn, and now you have Blender artists, well, actually, existing artists coming in and learning Blender and becoming as good as I am within the matter of like months, compared to like the years I've spent. Because I learned Blender when at a time where it was like confusing to learn, and like Blender itself was like sort of the allure, and now it's like Blender is just an easy 3D tool. So if you don't like doing art or animation, you're not gonna get very far in like the Blender world. You have to actually like the art now. So I can't pick something that's like relies on a single program because I could get boxed in. You know, programs get outdated or replaced, and I can't rely on a single website or service like YouTube because, you know, it's very bad if I pick something and my only way to grow is like, oh, through an algorithm designed by one company or something. So got to keep that in mind. Last thing, it should reuse my existing abilities somehow because, you know, I got comments saying whatever you do next, please don't let go of what you've learned or made, and don't let go of your style or like your creative voice. And I hear that. So even though I don't like animating, and maybe audio editing is kind of a chore for me, I did like writing. You know, I did like making the timing right. I did like cracking and making jokes in my videos. There are still things that I really enjoyed about my videos. Obviously, I wouldn't say that like I enjoyed what I make if I didn't enjoy some aspect of it. I want to take that with me somehow. And yeah. So without further ado, shit, this always breaks. Without further ado, here's what I'm doing now. I hope I got the timing on this right. I'm playing with this. You're looking at this going like, is that a fucking donut? Yeah, it is a donut, but watch this. Woo! 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 It's interactive. That's right. Oh shit, didn't need to make you dizzy with that 360. I've been playing with 3D inside websites, specifically, I guess you could call it web apps. Sure. And so, as you can see here, which the link to this is in the description, I'm purposefully not telling you what it is. Don't go to it yet. I want to talk about more of what this is before you go play with it. You could change like the flavor of your donut, basically the color. Ooh, you want strawberry? There you go, strawberry. You can change the plate. You want it plastic red? Sure, you get plastic red. That looks hideous. You want background? Sure. You like blue? You get blue. Oh my god, that looks horrible. I'm sorry. But let me set it back to chocolate. I like chocolate. But yeah, this is what I've been playing around with. Now, oh, also this button right here plays a funny sound effect. It's really fun to do that on like a phone screen, which this works on phones. It's really fun to like spam the button in here, just like stack over and over. Let me try to do it with my touchpad on my laptop, actually. I can't really do it that well. Not to get distracted. Okay. So yeah, basically, the reason why I picked this is because I'm still like hell-bent on doing something, you know, original for some reason. Like, oh, look at me, I want to do something different. Right? Didn't mean to make that sound like condescending. I was just making fun of the fact that like I keep making life harder for myself. Oh, creativity. But I think there's more potential in this because I can make things and they'd be harder to forget, or at least they have more replay value than a YouTube video. Because be honest, name your favorite YouTuber. Don't write it in the comments, just think of it. Okay, you probably came with that easily. Name your favorite YouTuber from 1 or 2 years ago. See, you probably couldn't answer that well. Name your favorite YouTube video. Now name your favorite YouTube video from what... But basically, I'm trying to say is like, there is so much shit that is constantly uploaded to YouTube every day that it is hard to remember what you've watched like a few years ago, and you only remember a creator for as long as they upload consistently. Like you're probably going to forget this video tomorrow, to be honest, because I mean, I have no schedule anymore. I'm literally not a YouTuber, but I want to make things that I put effort into them, and they could go further than putting all my effort into like a YouTube video, and then people watch it, really enjoy it, and then forget it for maybe they come back again in like 6 months. But for the most part, they forget it and then go watch YouTubers that upload like every day or something. So before I go, I did want to try to shoot down 2 questions that I might probably going to get asked right away. First one being, why didn't you learn a game engine like Unity or Unreal? And the answer to that is because, well, first off, I'm on Linux. That already narrows my options for game engines. Second off, I think it's ridiculous how they not only force you to use an account just to use it, but also the fact that they're gigantic and unoptimized compared to like this, which is like a single megabyte inside your browser. I think it's amazing how lightweight this is. And yeah, that's the last thing is that I don't even know if I want to make games. I just want to play around with my basic bare bone 3D knowledge with things that could probably be enjoyed more frequently. And so far the most playful thing, or at least the thing I've been having the most fun with from what I've tried, is 3D inside your web browser. And so the other frequently asked question I probably might get from the more technologically inclined is like, Why are you bothering making things for the modern web? It's a bloated, buggy mess, and these stupid fucking browsers always take up so much memory on my computer. And the answer is because it's not going anywhere. You're stuck with it. Cope, seethe. You can't get rid of Chrome or Firefox. They're going to be always there. You're always going to need them, and they will always take gigabytes of your RAM. And if not, your job will require it. And yeah, sorry, my mouth got dry. Basically, I'm pretty sure the modern web is not going anywhere. In fact, it might even be more prevalent going forward, doing wacky 3D shit like this. Unfortunately, the scene of the 3D for the web, the 3D for the web scene, 3JS or Babylon.js, is dominated by metaverse NFT people, which is really fucking annoying. But still, I think there's still potential to play with this and just make something that is like, I could make something and just toss a link at someone on Discord. They could just play it right away versus like, you gotta go to itch.io, you gotta download the game, and then you gotta run it on your computer. And oh, watch out for people that are scammers pretending to be me, making you download a virus, right? This is just a lot more lightweight and easier. There's just less expectation. I just really want to play around with that. And also, don't go around telling me the modern web is insecure and buggy. I know JavaScript is a shit show, but have you seen Linux Symbiote? Have you seen Apple M1 Pac-Man? Have you seen literally any bug ever on Windows with Microsoft Office? Have you seen iOS and Android Pegasus spyware? The whole world of technology is like swarming with like vulnerabilities, and anything can collapse into a cyber warfare mess at any second for all we know. So don't give me any of that like modern web is a shit show, buggy mess. 'Cause everything is. I mean, the modern web is more than other things, but listen, I'm pretty confident that like this is not going away. You're stuck with it for those people. And sorry I went on that tangent. That only like addressed like a very small subsect of people. But don't worry, I'm not going to put JavaScript on my main website, wavetro.net, which is also where I'm going to put most of my updates. Because the last question I'm probably going to get is, so you're going to keep us updated on you learning this stuff? And the answer is, I would like to, but I'm not a YouTuber anymore. I don't promise you frequent uploads or any uploads of any kind, or a schedule or whatever, right? It could be like 30 random videos, and then before you finally see another update on this 3D web stuff, or maybe I don't even do 3D web stuff, maybe I change hobbies again, which would be horrifying. But yeah, I absolutely will not be able to resist telling you about stuff if I learn something new with 3D for the web as I continue to mess around with it. But no promises. Okay, with that all being said, this video is probably definitely too long for Instagram, so I'm not going to be posting it there. But thank you for watching this, which are probably on either YouTube or Odyssey. If you're on YouTube, right now I put on screen a link to the video of Geotastic, where I played basically GeoGuessr for 44 minutes. I know that's a very long video, but you might be interested in it. But more specifically, you might want to watch the first 2 minutes of that. It has like a important announcement intro or whatever. Same with people on Odyssey. But yeah, go check that out, at least the intro, and then maybe stick around for the 42 minutes of Geotastic gameplay. I will see you around. Bye-bye.